You are standing in your bedroom the night before a cruise, staring into an open suitcase, and you think you have packed everything you need. You have not. There are more than 20 items experienced cruisers quietly pack every single time, and almost none of them show up on the standard packing lists floating around online. Most of these items cost less than the drink you will buy at the airport tomorrow, yet one of them alone can save your entire embarkation day, and another one can save you a few $100s before the ship even leaves the dock. This is not a generic list copied from a travel blog. This is the version built from actual mistakes, actual cabins, actual shore days, and the small fixes that experienced travelers wish someone had told them before their very first sailing. Before we get into the list, if this is your first time here, this channel is Senior Cruise Secrets, and we break down the small details that quietly make or break a cruise, so go ahead and hit subscribe so you do not miss the next one. And if you already know someone leaving on a cruise soon, send them this video first, because at least 5 items on this list are things almost nobody buys until it is already too late, and by then it usually costs more time or more money than it would have taken to just pack it in the first place. Number 1. The tech you forget until it is too late. Start with the small tracker you drop inside your suitcase before it ever leaves your hands. Something like an AirTag or a similar luggage tracker, the kind that costs less than a dinner out, but can save you an entire vacation. A 34-year-old traveler from Austin checked her bag at the airport the morning of her cruise, and it never came out on the carousel in Miami. Without a tracker, that bag becomes a mystery for days while the ship sails without it, leaving her guessing whether it was still at the connecting airport, sitting in a lost and found bin, or simply gone. With one, she watched the little dot on her phone sitting in a cargo hold 2 terminals away, called the airline with the exact location in hand, and had the bag delivered to the port before boarding closed for the day. Drop a tracker inside every checked bag and your carry-on. Check it the moment you land, and you turn a potential disaster into a minor inconvenience you barely think about again. It is worth pairing the tracker with a bright luggage tag as well, since a bag that stands out visually on a crowded carousel gets noticed by baggage handlers faster than one that blends in with 100 other black suitcases. Next comes the portable charger with a built-in cable, the kind you do not have to remember a separate cord for because the cable folds directly into the body of the charger itself. Shore days drain a phone fast between maps, translation apps, ride-share apps, and the endless stream of photos everyone takes the moment they step off the ship, and there is rarely an outlet anywhere near a dock or a market stall. A dead phone in an unfamiliar port is not just inconvenient, it can turn into a genuine problem if you get separated from your group, miss the all-aboard time posted on the ship, or simply cannot find your way back through streets that all start to look the same after a few hours of walking. Pack the charger, keep it topped up the night before every excursion, and treat it as part of your wallet and keys rather than an afterthought you remember only after your phone dies. Choose one with at least 2 full charges worth of battery inside it, since a single top-up rarely lasts through a full day of navigation photos and the occasional video call back home from a scenic overlook. Then there is the small non-surge protected USB power strip or power cube, and this one trips people up every single cruise. Most cabins have exactly 1 or 2 working outlets, usually tucked behind a mirror or under a small desk, and everyone sharing that cabin is competing for them with a phone, a CPAP machine, a curling iron, a laptop, and a camera battery all at the same time every single night. Cruise lines allow power strips on board only if they do not contain surge protection circuitry, because those extra components inside a surge protector are flagged as a fire risk during the security screening every bag goes through at boarding, and a strip with surge protection will simply be confiscated on the spot. Buy one clearly labeled as cruise approved or non-surge, pack it in your carry-on rather than checked luggage so it never sits unattended near a screening station, and you turn 1 weak outlet into 4 working ones the moment you walk into your cabin for the first time. Double-check the label before you buy, since plenty of power strips sold online look nearly identical, but quietly include the exact surge protection circuitry that gets confiscated, and the return counter at guest services on embarkation day is not where you want to discover that mistake. Finally, pack a small digital luggage scale, the kind that clips onto a handle and gives you an exact weight reading in a matter of seconds. Airlines and even some cruise transfer services charge steep overweight fees at check-in, and a traveler flying out of Denver last year paid over $100 in fees because her suitcase had crept 3 pounds over the limit after she added a handful of souvenirs on the way home from her sailing. Weigh your bag before you leave the house, weigh it again before you fly home with everything you bought along the way. And that small scale pays for itself the very first time it saves you from a fee at the counter. It also saves you the stress of standing at a crowded check in counter-shuffling clothes between 2 suitcases while a line of impatient travelers forms behind you, since you already know the exact number before you ever get there. Keep it clipped to the inside pocket of your carry-on for the trip home, since that is the direction most bags end up overweight after a week of shopping in port. Number 2, cabin hacks nobody tells you about. Most cruise cabins are built for efficiency, not storage, which means every extra inch matters more than you would expect before your first sailing. Pack a set of magnetic hooks, the kind that stick firmly to any metal surface without leaving a mark, a scratch, or any sticky residue behind. Cabin walls and ceilings on almost every cruise ship are steel underneath the paint and wallpaper, which means a magnetic hook holds a robe, a sun hat, a wet swimsuit, or a tote bag anywhere you want it, instantly doubling the usable storage you actually have compared to the 2 small drawers and 1 narrow closet most cabins come with. Bring at least 6 hooks rather than 2 or 3, since between towels, hats, bags, and lanyards, the need for extra hanging space adds up faster than most first-time cruisers expect. Next, bring a small motion sensor nightlight designed for the bathroom or hallway. Cruise cabins are almost completely dark at night, with no streetlight glow, no hallway light bleeding under the door, and no ambient city light coming through the curtains. So a middle-of-the-night trip to the bathroom without one usually ends in a stubbed toe, a bumped elbow, or a fumble along the wall for a light switch that ends up waking everyone else in the room. Stick the sensor light near the bathroom entrance before your very first night on board, and it turns itself on automatically the moment you get up, then fades off once you are back in bed. Pair that with a hanging toiletry bag, one with clear pockets and a sturdy hook built into the top seam because bathroom counter space in most standard cabins is smaller than a single hand towel laid flat. Hang it on the back of the bathroom door or over a towel bar, unzip every pocket, and suddenly every toothbrush, razor, bottle of sunscreen, and travel-size shampoo is visible and completely off the counter within seconds of walking in. This single change makes sharing a cabin bathroom with a partner, a friend, or a family member noticeably smoother, since everyone gets their own section instead of one small shelf turning into a daily negotiation. Round out the cabin kit with a stack of Ziploc bags in several different sizes because you will use every single size before the cruise ends. Use the small ones for jewelry, hair ties, or loose medication so nothing rattles around loose in a drawer, the medium ones for a wet swimsuit after the pool so it does not soak through the rest of your bag, and the large gallon-sized ones for boarding documents, cash, and passports so a sudden rain shower on a tender boat does not ruin your paperwork on the way to shore. They also work well for keeping snacks fresh during a long excursion day, since a bag of crackers or fruit tossed loose into a backpack rarely survives a bumpy bus ride to a waterfall or a beach. A traveler from Charlotte kept her passport sealed inside a gallon bag during a sudden rainy tender ride in Jamaica, while 3 people around her scrambled to shield soaked boarding passes and dripping documents with their bare hands, and it took her exactly 0 effort to stay completely calm through the whole thing. Keep a few extra empty bags in your suitcase for the trip home too, since a used sunscreen bottle or a damp swimsuit tucked loose against clean clothes has ruined more than one favorite shirt on the flight back. Number 3, the Body and Health Servile Kit. This is the section people regret skipping the most, almost every single time. Start with motion sickness medication, something like Bonine or a similar over-the-counter option, taken the night before you even feel queasy, rather than waiting until the ship is already rocking and your stomach is already unhappy. A 29-year-old from Tampa spent her first full day at sea in bed because she assumed she would be one of the lucky ones and packed nothing at all, only to discover the ship's medical center charges a small fortune for the exact same pills she could have grabbed from a drugstore near her house for a few dollars before she ever left home. Take it early. Take it consistently through the first 2 days while your body adjusts to the motion, and you skip the entire problem before it ever really starts. This matters even if you have never felt seasick in your life, since the first 2 days of a cruise often include the roughest open water crossing of the entire itinerary, and plenty of travelers who assumed they were immune learn otherwise the hard way somewhere around dinner on their very first night. Next comes anti-chafing balm, a small stick or cream that takes up almost no space in a bag but saves an entire day of walking through hot, humid ports where the combination of sweat, sun, and long distances turns into raw, uncomfortable skin by early afternoon. Pair it with moleskin and a generous handful of bandages for your feet, because new shoes plus miles of uneven cobblestone streets in port after port is a nearly guaranteed blister factory for even the most comfortable walkers, and there is nothing worse than limping through the last 2 excursions of your trip because a single blister on day 1 was left untreated. Apply moleskin at the first hint of a hot spot rather than waiting for an actual blister to form, since prevention takes seconds, while treatment after the fact can cost you an entire afternoon of comfortable walking. Round out the kit with a small stash of over-the-counter medication covering stomach upset, allergies, a common cold, and basic pain relief, packed together in one clearly labeled bag so you are not searching through your entire suitcase at midnight. The onboard medical center and gift shop sell these items at a steep markup, sometimes many times what you would pay at home, and they frequently run out entirely by the middle of a longer sailing once word spreads that the shop is the only option left. So a $15 kit assembled at your own kitchen table before you leave can quietly save you well over $100 and an uncomfortable wait in line at the ship's infirmary while you feel worse by the minute. Toss in a few electrolyte packets as well, since the combination of sun, walking, and salty ship food catches more travelers off guard than seasickness ever does, and a quick packet stirred into a bottle of water often solves a headache faster than anything from the medical center. Quick pause here, because if you are realizing how many of these you do not currently own, that is exactly the point of this list, so drop a comment with the item that surprised you the most. It genuinely helps this video reach other travelers before their own trip, instead of after a mistake teaches them the hard way. And if you want the full printable checklist version of everything covered here, that link is waiting for you right below this video. Number 4, comfort and wardrobe rescue. Pack a light wrap or a thin jacket even if your cruise is headed somewhere tropical, because dining rooms, theaters, and casinos run their air conditioning aggressively cold to keep guests comfortable during formal nights and busy evening shows, and the temperature difference between the sun-soaked pool deck and the main dining room a few decks down can genuinely catch you off guard the first time you feel it. This one item ends up being the single most borrowed thing on the ship, since almost every cruiser eventually notices someone shivering through dinner in a sleeveless dress and wishes they had packed one themselves. Next, carry a stain remover pen, something like a Tide-to-go stick, in your day bag, rather than leaving it packed away in the cabin where it does you no good in the moment you actually need it. A splash of red sauce on a white shirt 30 minutes before a formal dinner has ruined more than one evening and more than one set of dinner photos, and a stain pen used immediately, before the stain has time to set into the fabric, can save the outfit and save the night. Bring a small bottle of wrinkle release spray as well, since most standard cabins do not have an iron available for guest use, and some ships restrict irons entirely for fire safety reasons regardless of how badly you want one. A quick spray and a firm shake of a wrinkled shirt straight out of a packed suitcase gets it presentable in under a minute without ever needing an outlet, a hot surface, or a trip down to guest services to ask a favor. Finally, tuck a mini sewing kit and a handful of safety pins into your bag, the small kind hotels used to leave in every room before they mostly disappeared. A traveler from Sacramento had a formal nightgown lose a button 5 minutes before dinner, and rather than missing the evening entirely or scrambling into something less special at the last minute, A 30-second fix with a safety pin from her bag had her walking into the dining room right on time and looking exactly like she had planned it that way all along. Keep the whole kit, the balm, the wrap, the stain pen, the spray, and the sewing supplies in one small pouch you can grab in seconds, because the moment you actually need any one of these, you rarely have time to dig through a full suitcase looking for it. Number 5. Shore Day and Safety Essentials. For every day you step off the ship, carry a crossbody anti-theft bag rather than a purse with a single loose strap or an open-top tote that anyone could reach into. Busy port markets, crowded tender lines, and packed local buses are exactly where pickpockets work best. Counting on distracted tourists and unfamiliar surroundings, and a bag that sits securely across your body with a zippered opening tucked against your side removes most of that risk without you having to think about it once for the rest of the day. Look for one with a slash-resistant strap and a hidden back pocket for your room key card, since losing that single plastic card in a crowded market means a trip back to guest services just to sail back into your own cabin. Bring a pack of disinfecting wipes as well, and use them the moment you walk into your cabin for the first time, then again anytime you return from a busy port or a crowded excursion bus. Thousands of people cycle through the same handrails, elevator buttons, buffet stations, and tender boat seats over the course of a single week. And a quick wipe down of your immediate surroundings on embarkation day is one of the simplest, cheapest ways to avoid starting a vacation you paid for months in advance with a scratchy throat by day 3. Keep a small travel pack in your day bag as well, since the same logic applies the moment you sit down on a crowded excursion bus or grab a rented snorkel mask at a beach stop. Pack a foldable waterproof backpack too, one that compresses down to almost nothing inside your suitcase but unfolds into a full-sized bag on excursion days, perfect for a wet swimsuit, a light rain jacket, sunscreen, and a water bottle without carrying a bulky day pack through the airport on the way there and taking up space you need for everything else. Look for one with a chest strap and reinforced seams, since a flimsy folding bag tends to stretch and sag by the 3rd or 4th excursion once it is carrying wet gear and souvenirs on the walk back to the ship. Last, and this is the one people forget about until the exact moment they actually need it, keep a clear photocopy of your passport and your travel insurance documents saved directly on your phone and emailed to yourself as a backup in case your phone is lost, along with everything else. A traveler from St. Louis lost her physical passport on a shore excursion in Cozumel, and having a clear photo of it along with her insurance policy number already sitting in her email turned what could have been a multi-day ordeal at a consulate into a same-day resolution handled calmly from a cafe with Wi-Fi near the port. Save both before you ever leave your driveway, not on the morning you suddenly need them and cannot find either one. It takes less than 2 minutes to snap a photo of every important document and send it to your own inbox. And those 2 minutes are the difference between a minor hiccup and losing an entire day of your vacation standing in a government office instead of on a beach. That is the full list. More than 20 things most packing guides completely skip over. And if even 3 or 4 of these were new to you, that is exactly why this channel exists in the first place. Hit subscribe right now so the next list lands in front of you before your next trip, instead of after a mistake teaches you the hard way. And if you are sailing soon, drop your departure port in the comments below so we know exactly who this list just helped before they even step foot on the ship. See you in the next one.